so excited to get to talk to you. We've known each other for a long time, and I've gotten to see all the ups and downs. But you are one of my favorite authors in that when you find something that's really working, you know how to harness it without overdoing it.
I try.
Let's face it, like people either go really deep into their genre,
oh yeah,
or they overdo something.
Yeah.
You come up with like a fun spin on something and you pull it through. Whether it's the nerd series or the, we'll talk about the amazing new series that you just won a Utopia award for.
Oh yes.
But you know how to make romances that people can believe in and want to get behind.
Okay.
Your branding is on point. I love a good brand. But they're just fun too.
Yeah, I try. Well, technically it doesn't come out until the 12th. So this is Wet. It's the first book in a series of
it's not
standalones. It's not erotica. Amazon dumps it in the erotica dungeon, but it's not erotica. It is a college sports romance. It has romantic suspense, and he's a swimmer, a college swimmer, and she's a photographer, a college student photographer. It touches on things like assault, sexual assault, physical assault, and it's got your usual the bromance that my readers really like
you're very good at.
They like the whole Romeo and Braden thing. So I added that in there, and yeah, like woman in danger. It's very fast paced and it is insta-love. So if you don't like insta-love and fast pace, if you prefer slow burn, this one is not for you.
I mean, you have to have diversity though.
I don't want to be one of those one-trick ponies that write the same thing over and over and over, and that's great. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it because it's predictable and readers like that. Like I saw something the other day, like I go to Starbucks and I order the same thing every time. So I don't mind reading, but I like to have a little bit of diversity in there because I don't want to get bored.
You definitely know how to push the diversity. You know what? I'm going to stop saying in a good way because I'm not going to say anything in a bad way.
Yeah.
But
it's fine.
Just assume that I mean it.
I understand.
But how do you decide what you're writing next? Because it is really diverse. And
it is.
Bounce around.
And it's a hard sell because I almost feel like my diversity keeps people away because you never quite know what you're gonna get, but I'm always like, it's gonna be good.
I mean, you know that part.
Yeah.
Trust the process.
I basically just go by like what I feel like my feelings, or like if I get a character pop into my head, if they tell me a certain thing, I'll go with that. For House of Misfits, my newest series, for Ivory White, it basically started with, I thought it would be funny to write a girl in a group in a house with a bunch of guys, and like they're all like rough and whatever, and she's like, ew, 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 and I was like, hey, that could kind of be like Snow White, and hey, what if we put it in the Grimms in New York City and make it, I just kind of spiral from there, and then it just kind of.
So are you a plotter?
No.
So you're a pantser who pre-plans?
I'm
you're
just
a planter?
I'm just this is a really great idea. I'm going to write it and see what happens. So I don't plot, but I have a general idea of what I want the book to be. Most of the time they tell me what to do. Because that's why I don't plot. Because
it's
when
hard
I
to live
do,
in a house full of characters, isn't it?
When I do, they usually I find that when I plot, I'm very stubborn. Even inside my own head. Like when somebody tells me I have to do something, it's an automatic no.
Right.
Like
I get that.
my brain is like, nope, nope. So if I have a whole outline that I have to follow, my brain is like, So I just kind of am like, I want this, like for wet, I'm like, I want the college romance. I want the feels that everybody says they want. And all my readers say that. The feels. I don't know if
Yeah,
okay.
I mean,
I don't know if that's like a general term.
I mean, I feel like it. Yeah.
They want, I wanted that college romance, sports, and I'm like, I'm gonna go with that. And he's a swimmer, so it's gonna be water themed,
And wet because it's water themed.
And that's it. See what comes out when you sit down to write. Yes, it's a standalone. The next book is about his best friend, Jamie. And then the third book is going to be an MM. I really like to write MM, so I mix MM and male-female into a series. And I think sometimes that's a little bit of a rough sell, because some people will only read MM and some will only read male-female.
That's not the world we live in.
That's why I write it like that, because that's not the world we live in. Like, everybody gets a romance where I'm from.
Right, well, and everybody, I mean, we're all mixed together.
Exactly.
It's not like there are only MM people living in a specific little pride town.
Yeah. Now that'd be a book.
I give you permission to go crazy.
Pride town.
But it's, you know what I mean? That's not the world we live in.
Exactly. But they're all these can be read as standalones, because I know readers, it seems like now, the world is so fast-paced, it's easier to pick up a standalone than to feel like you have to commit to 12 books or 8 books.
Well, I think the pandemic changed us a lot, too. You know what I mean?
I think,
Because...
Totally.
On one side, you had a lot more time to read. But on the other side, I think TikTok happened. So everybody became very like, I need immediate gratification. You have 30 seconds to give it to me.
And it must be this, this, and this.
Yes.
And if it deviates from this,
you have ruined the algorithm and I don't want you. You are canceled.
We will cancel you.
On Book Talk, which is a terrifying thing.
I stay away.
It's a scary thing. They like you on Book Talk.
Oh, do they?
They do like you on Book Talk.
Thank you.
You're popular on there.
Thank you, Book Dog. I'm scared.
It's a very
brutal.
And I think because of things like Book Talk and Instagram, there's more conversation about romance. I mean, let's face it, there's still a stigma to it.
Oh yeah.
But romance readers have found each other and they're like, what are you reading?
Mm-hmm.
And so you're finding things. I mean, like, we're at Book Bonanza.
Mm-hmm.
What happened with It Ends With Us?
Yeah.
And just all of Colleen's back, like, insanity.
Yeah.
And, when that, like, blew up, I remember thinking, it was like 2021 or 2020 or whatever, and I was like, that book came out in 2016. Like, I reviewed that book in 2016. So I was like, are you sure? Because one of my kids was like, have you ever heard of this book?
Like,
and I was
duh.
I was like, yeah, I was like, and my husband had read Verity.
Oh, yeah.
Which was just random. Like, someone at work gave it to him.
Oh.
But I was like, all of a sudden I was like, when my husband, who is like ex-military, is like, have you ever heard of Colleen Hoover? Something has shifted in the algorithm has shifted the entirety of the universe.
Yes.
So I cannot imagine what it's like as an author facing it.
Oh yeah. In a sense, I'm more scared to write now. I feel like there's less freedom because everybody has an opinion, and when you write diversity, if it's not the right kind of diversity, and if it's not what they want to read, you get angry DMs. How dare you? And it's like, ugh. And it's like, it's so hard to be diverse because everybody in the world lives their own life and sees things and experiences things in their own perspective. So if I'm writing it from one perspective, somebody else's perspective isn't going to match that.
Right.
And they get upset. And it's like, your experience is valid, but so is this one. but people don't always, that doesn't always mesh very well. So it's very hard to put yourself out there, put characters out there, and like be truthful with what you write, because my truth isn't what your truth is, or her truth, or his truth, and people get upset very easily these days, and it's very difficult to, and I'm not saying that everybody has the right to their opinion, they have the right to their review,
Of course.
but it's hard when you get it in your DMs and they're like
they
angry.
take it to you.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Like, I think there's sort of this mentality now because, like, I had a problem with Delta the other day, so I tweeted at them.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have been on the phone for 3 hours trying to resolve the situation.
Yeah.
But they've kind of created this, like, come directly to us thing. And I think that people have translate that. But authors are doing something. They're not a big corporation. They're a person who's putting themselves out there in 400 pages, and if you come at them, it's a different. You're coming at a person,
Right?
And and their personal feelings.
And sometimes I write from the point of view of the character. So this character might say something, and I might not necessarily. That might not be what I think,
Right.
but that's what he thinks, and that's
you
what
don't really have a choice
he
in the matter.
told me. And I'm like, well, okay.
You're like, I guess this is what we're doing.
If that's what you feel like, all right, you try and write from a place of good intention, and you just hope that it comes across. And sometimes it does, and sometimes people don't get it.
I feel like there's not much you can do for that, though.
It's a
But what I
learning
would say is, you are very good at creating a brand around each set of like stories you
Yeah.
do. Like, you create a world through that.
I
So
try.
whether it's a high school or like a
College.
Romeo environment, or you're doing magazine covers
Yeah,
with
Gear Shark.
Yeah, I mean, your race car drivers,
Race car. Yep.
you're real, and I mean, the new covers are beautiful that you did for
House
the
of Misfits.
gorgeous. Like,
Well, and that was funny because when I came out with Ivory White, illustrated covers were not like big, and people were like, "This is a mistake. You shouldn't do this." And I was like, "But I love it." And it's so beautiful, and it's hard to like. I feel like covers, a lot of covers, they look the same, and it's like I want something that is going to stand out, but sometimes that come back and bite you too, because then they don't want that. They want what everybody else is doing. So
well, I think it's just sort of what they know.
yeah.
But for those who become part of your squad, I feel
Yes.
like they get to know,
They do.
they can expect that
They do.
whatever grouping
Yes.
comes out, there's a reason.
Yes.
And, you're big on purpose.
Yeah. I just rebranded, and my tagline is "Love Without Limits," and I kind of feel like I write romance across everything, because I feel like romance and love is limitless.
Right.
Anybody can have it, whether it be my Korean assassin with his girlfriend in the wheelchair, or my college swimmer, or my college football player, or I have a Hollywood makeup artist that's disfigured and missing a limb. She gets with like a hot Hollywood star. I usually I say to the person, "What do you like to read?" Because I probably have something that matches that, because I have such a big backlist.
You do have big books.
So I just say, "What do you like?" And then I kind of go from there.
How many books do you have at this point?
I stopped counting at 50. I have like 50 some. I don't know.
A couple.
A couple. More of the college swimmers. So I'm gonna do college swimmers for a while, and suspense. This is gonna have suspense in it, like
Okay.
stalker, like
Wow.
like
Ooh.
somebody stalking somebody.
I mean, not ooh, but
yeah,
ooh.
yeah. It's not gonna be just like plain college romance, which I love, but I like suspense too. So I'm kind of like, think Take It Off series meets hashtag series and go like this.
Nice.
So that's what I'm doing for right now. Fast-paced, fun, sexy, college. Probably Trent and Drew from Junkie.
Okay.
And if not them, then it would be Daisham and Bo from House of Misfits. From my Red, the one that just won the award.
How come?
I just love them. Trent and Drew, I could eat French fries and ride race cars with. And Daisham and Bo, well, they probably wouldn't be the best to hang out with. That I do my best.
Aww.
That I really do. I really try and do my best. I put everything I can into a book. When I do something, I don't like half-ass it. I really try my best. And in everything I write with good intentions. And I never intend to upset or whatever. I just try and tell the story that my characters tell me and their truth. I try and tell their truth, and I do my best. That's all.
That was just like, I'm over here just trying, man.
That's all
I'm just in my
Truly.
my office just trying to get some stuff done, writing some words, listening to some characters,
Yep.
making some cakes.
Yep.
If you haven't seen her cakes, guys, bake some serious cakes.
I try.
She tries that too.
I
but they
try.
are really, really, really.
And I stand over them and stress.
Like,
and,
you look at them and you're like, you baked that cake? Her Instagram confuses me. Like, it'll come up on my...
Yeah,
I'm like,
I try not to
I was
put
like,
so
whose
much.
bakery is that? Oh!
I try not to post so much because I don't want people to get confused now. Like, I send recipes in newsletters, and like people email me and say, can you just stop sending the book stuff? I only want your recipes. And I'm like,
That's weird.
That's
really weird,
I'm
guys.
like, but I'm a writer.
That's so strange. Thank you
It was
so
nice.
much.
Thank you for having me.
Oh,